Hi guys, so this is your last lesson for this week of October 19th. If you need help, you know how to reach out to me. If you are confused by some of our new vocab this week, or if you want to talk about inheritance, genetics, if you have any questions, please message me and sign up for office hours. I'd be happy to answer them. Please remember that in this lesson, we have our formative assessment for the week. So this is your first graded assignment for the quarter. So please make sure that you pay special attention to that. As always, you can revise and you can retake it. So don't worry about getting it perfect the first time around. The agenda only has 3 parts. So a vocab review to get you ready for step 2, the formative assessment, and then step 3, a quick weekly reflection. The weekly objective is the same, but here are some key points from the last lesson. So these are a few definitions of our new vocab, and if it's confusing at all, please go back to lesson 2 of this week and make sure that it all makes sense. All right, so step 1 is your vocab review. Here are some of the key points from this week. Number 1, genes carry the genetic information from parents to offsprings, and they determine your traits. So remember that genes are basically DNA. They go from parents to offspring. Each parent gives 50%, and those determine the traits of the offspring. Your genotype, remember the word gene in genotype, describes the genetic information that encodes for physical traits. The physical traits that we can see or that are presented are the phenotype. So, for example, my genotype might be capital B, and my phenotype might be brown eyes. My genotype might be big E, little e, and my phenotype might be detached earlobes. Remember that alleles are the 2 forms of a gene. So one allele comes from your mom, one allele comes from your dad. That's why you have 2 alleles. So when we think about, for example, big E is one allele, little e is another allele. Alleles can be dominant or they can be recessive. So big E is dominant, little e is recessive, and we can figure that out by looking at homozygous and heterozygous genotypes. So homozygous have 2 of the same alleles, so it would be something like big E, or little e, and heterozygous genotypes have 2 different alleles. So heterozygous would be big E, little e. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to go into your vocab tracker and make sure that every word makes sense to you. Make sure that you could explain it to me. So for example, if I said, what is a trait and what are the 2 different kinds of traits, that you could answer that question. Make sure that you know the difference between genotype and phenotype. Make sure that you know the difference between dominant and recessive, heterozygous and homozygous before you move on. There are 2 games that you can play to practice before your formative. So there's the Quizlet matching game. So if you click on this, it will open up your Quizlet and you can just start playing the game. So it'll have terms and all you have to do is drag them to the correct definition. So for example, when both alleles are the same, that means homozygous. So you drag it on and then it disappears. So that's how you play. You can play that game as many times as you want to practice. There's also the Quizlet gravity game. You are trying to protect the planets from incoming asteroids by practicing your vocab. So here we see phenotype is coming towards the planet, so you have to type in your answer for phenotype. Make sure that actually when you play the gravity game that your settings are set specifically so that you answer with the term. So when you answer with the term, it'll come up with the definition. So a non-heritable trait that is influenced by environmental factors. Oh my gosh, I know that this is acquired trait. Whew, and it disappeared. See? So it's a fun game that you can play. An allele that always produces its phenotype. Oh my gosh, dominant. So it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit stressful, but in a good way, you know. And then when you feel confident about how well you know the Unit 3 vocab, move on to Step 2. Step 2 is our formative. This will go into the gradebook as part of your 90% academic grade. It is a check for understanding, and I know that right now, virtually, it is probably really easy to cheat on these. I am asking that you try your hardest without looking at your notes. If you need to look at your notes, that's okay, but remember that you always can retake these. So there's no need for you to cheat, like you are always going to get a second, third, fourth, fifth chance to retake these. So don't worry about that. What it is it's a Google form. And so it will record your email address. There are 10 questions here. They are all multiple choice. So all you need to do, try your hardest. It will go into the gradebook as part of your academic grade, but you always, always, always have the chance to revise. Please remember that. All right, last thing is to fill out this reflection. You are going to reflect on your goals. You are going to reflect on the activities that we did and something that you are going to do to take care of yourself. This weekend, something I am going to do to take care of myself is go on a hike. When you finish, please turn in your assignment, and that's all. I'll see you guys in class. Bye.